Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're stepping right into our bright pastel kitchen to tackle what is arguably the ultimate parenting challenge, feeding a 6 to 12-month-old baby. I mean, if you've ever found yourself trying to negotiate with a tiny human over a single spoonful of mashed peas and totally losing, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to break down the actual science of both the food we serve and the environment we serve it in, turning mealtime from a stressful battleground into a rock-solid foundation for lifelong healthy habits.
Okay, let's dive right in. What actually makes the perfect baby mealtime? Well, you have to remember that tiny stomachs and rapidly developing brains can turn a meal into a chaotic meltdown in seconds if we aren't using the right strategies. At this age, babies are experiencing literally explosive growth, but their capacity to self-regulate is almost zero. They are taking in the world at 1,000,000 miles an hour. When you combine a high-sensory environment with the incredibly complex new motor skill of eating solid foods, it is a guaranteed recipe for sensory overload. So, the perfect mealtime? It's really the intersection of exactly what goes on the plate and exactly what is happening in the room around them.
Act 1. The plate.
So in this critical 6 to 12-month window, breast milk or formula is obviously still foundational. But solids, they're starting to play a massive role in delivering the essential micronutrients those rapidly expanding little bodies and brains absolutely demand. To fuel that wild growth, we start with the Eat the Rainbow concept. This is basically a colorful nutritional shield absolutely packed with phytonutrients to keep your baby's body strong. Because, the bright colors in fruits and veggies aren't just there to look pretty. They are literal visual indicators of specific vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. And since no single vegetable has it all, serving a wide spectrum of colors is hands down the most efficient way to ensure they're getting a complete nutritional profile.
It's fascinating when you look at how the science breaks down by color. Red produce, super rich in vitamin C, acting like a bodyguard for immune defense and cellular protection. Orange and yellow veggies, loaded with beta-carotene and vitamin A, which are absolutely crucial for healthy vision and skin. Then you've got your greens, total powerhouses for calcium and iron, driving bone mineralization and carrying oxygen in the blood. Blues and purples offer those incredible antioxidants for protecting neural tissue, while white and brown foods are doing the heavy lifting for digestion and heart health. It's like a giant, perfect physiological puzzle.
Okay, so how do we actually bring those reds and oranges to life, safely? Obviously, we aren't just handing a baby a raw carrot. Instead, we're talking about things like pureed red bell peppers, very softly diced tomatoes, or thoroughly steamed carrot coins. Oh, and baked sweet potato fries. If you cook them until they're incredibly soft, they are a fantastic, tactile way to get those vital, vision-supporting vitamin A nutrients right onto the high chair tray.
To finish rounding out our rainbow, we've got our greens, purples, and whites. For greens, you could do steamed broccoli florets. Babies actually love holding those by the stalk. Or a simple pureed spinach. For that brain-boosting purple, braised, shredded purple cabbage or pureed steamed eggplant are amazing. And for the whites, cauliflower clouds. Just cook them until they're tender. Not only are they fun to say, but they brilliantly support your baby's developing digestive and immune systems.
Safe textures and preparations.
All right, so all that incredible nutrition means absolutely nothing if the food presents a physical danger. Babies at this age are just starting to figure out the complex mechanics of chewing and swallowing, so you've got to follow a really simple progression to prevent choking. Step 1. Thoroughly cook or steam the veggies until you can easily squish them between your thumb and forefinger. Step 2. Puree them, mash them, or dice them into tiny pieces depending on where your baby is at. And Step 3. Always serve them in small, manageable toddler portions. You can always give them more if they're hungry, but starting small keeps them from stuffing their mouths and getting completely overwhelmed.
And we absolutely have to talk about the danger zone. You must avoid hard, round, and slippery foods. I'm talking whole nuts, big chunks of meat or cheese, whole grapes, popcorn. These are severe choking hazards for any child under 4. To put it into perspective, a baby's airway is roughly the size of a standard drinking straw, so any food that's perfectly round or doesn't easily dissolve with a bit of saliva and gumming needs to be heavily modified or just kept completely off the menu until they are much older.
Act 2. The environment.
So now that our plate is safely prepped with this beautiful, soft rainbow, we need to pivot from physical nutrition to cognitive nutrition. This means looking closely at the environment we're actually eating in, because honestly, you could serve the most perfect, phytonutrient-dense sweet potato on the planet, but if your baby's brain is highly distracted or in distress, mealtime is still going to be a huge struggle. Let's talk screens. A lot of popular contemporary toddler shows use hyperstimulating designs where the scene cuts every 1 to 3 seconds. They rely on incredibly fast pacing, super quick speaking characters, neon visuals, and loud nonstop music just to hook a child's attention.
Well, all that rapid pacing, it creates a massive sensory traffic jam in a developing brain. When a visual scene shifts every few seconds, the toddler's orienting reflex is just constantly being triggered. It literally forces their brain into a high alert mode, kicking off a fight or flight response. This spikes their cortisol levels and leaves the child in this state of chronic sensory overload, making it pretty much impossible for them to calm down and focus on the physical act of eating.
And get this, there's incredible research that perfectly explains those totally exhausting post-screen mealtime meltdowns we all dread. A landmark study in the journal Pediatrics found that just 9 minutes of high-intensity, fast-paced cartoons leaves a child with depleted attention and impulse control. 9 minutes! Their executive function, the part of the brain managing planning, working memory, and flexible thinking, takes a massive, direct hit. So when you turn the screen off to feed them, their brain is practically crashing. It leads to major irritability and literally zero patience for trying new foods.
To really grasp what's happening, we have to look at overstimulation. When a baby gets overstimulated, it entirely strips away their ability to tune into social modeling cues, to process language, or to eat mindfully. They literally can't pay attention to you showing them how to chew, and they completely lose touch with their own body's fullness signals. They kind of enter this zombie-like trance while watching, which is almost always followed by hyperactivity or just severe crankiness the exact second the screen goes dark.
When you compare the two environments side by side, it's night and day. High stimulation media causes irritability, super low frustration tolerance, and it even messes with their sleep. On the flip side, a low stimulation environment, or, if you really must use media, picking something with super slow-paced, gentle storylines, fosters calm focus and emotional regulation. And a calm brain, that is a brain actually ready to learn the complex motor and sensory skills needed to chew up a piece of steamed broccoli.
So, going by the American Academy of Pediatrics guidelines, we really should just avoid screen media altogether for kids under 18 months, with the one exception being video chatting with family. Instead, we've got to lean into face-to-face interaction to keep the mealtime vibe calm. Babies are evolutionarily hardwired to look at human faces and track biological motion. So, talking to them, making real eye contact, and gently guiding them through the meal, that's the absolute best way to support both their cognitive and physical development right there at the table.
The climax. Bringing it all together. Look, we're not aiming for absolute perfection every single time you sit down to eat. It's really about setting up a foundational routine that respects their nutritional needs and their neurological limits. By combining a low-stimulation, screen-free environment with safely prepared, phytonutrient-rich veggies, you're literally empowering your baby with lifelong healthy habits. When a baby feels calm, they get curious. And when they're curious, they're suddenly willing to reach out, squish, and taste that bright orange sweet potato or that dark green spinach puree. You are laying down the exact neural pathways that tell them food is safe, mealtime means connection, and trying new things is actually a really positive experience.
So, I want to leave you with this. Think about your own daily routine. How are you going to turn off that tablet, clear out the sensory traffic jam, and introduce a brand new color to your baby's plate today? Will it be a brilliant red tomato, a deep purple eggplant, or maybe a vibrant green pea? The whole rainbow is waiting for them. And now you've got the exact blueprint to serve it up safely and calmly. Thank you so much for joining this explainer. And hey, here's to happier, much healthier mealtimes.